Hi, my name's Dan Interiano, and I'm doing an informative speech for my communications class at Bergen Community College. The topic of my speech is everything from the universe to us and how we came to be. I'm going to be telling you a story that tells of a place filled with wonderful things and awe-inspiring events that tells us how we came to be. It tells you of all the little things that had to happen in order to come up with everything that you see in front of you today. Okay? I'm going to be going through three specific topics. First topic is how the universe and galaxies are formed. Second topic is how the Earth that we inhabit today it was formed, and how humans came to inhabit this place that we call home. This is my outline, which has my introduction, my topic, and everything. On the second page, as I said, we will be talking about the universe and galaxies. On the next page, we'll be talking about how the Earth was made and things that led to its formation. And then on the next page, we'll be talking about Charles Darwin and how he thinks humans came to inhabit the Earth. And then there's my conclusion. Starting with how the universe and galaxies are made. Billions and billions of years ago, at a certain fixed point, there was everything that we see in front of us and more today. Everything in the smallest point possible, as small and possibly smaller than an atom. It was so compact and so condensed that light couldn't be perceived by the eye. It couldn't even be held inside. Now, what we're going to use is something that's been taught in classrooms for years, and that is called the Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory, no, I'm not talking about the television show. I'm talking about something that astronomers have been studying their whole lives, even the great Albert Einstein, who we'll be talking about in one moment. The Big Bang Theory, Neil deGrasse talks about in his book called The Origins, states that the Big Bang happened 13.8 billion years ago. The Big Bang pretty much states that everything was so compact and so condensed and so hot that everything just exploded and spread over the cosmos. Everything from gases to rocks and metals just all spreading over the vast cosmos. Now, this leads us to how galaxies are formed. Galaxies accumulate when a bunch of gas and rocks all form around one thing, and it just keeps accumulating. It creates a gravitational pull, and those galaxies become super galaxies, and those galaxies start forming little solar systems in them. Now, the Big Bang Theory is also supported by findings from Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. Albert Einstein's theory of relativity states that space, time, and gravity are all relevant and that should be taken into account when provided with new findings, new studies, and things like that. Now, one astronomer actually did that. His name was Philip Peebles. Philip Peebles was a famous astronomer that did most of his studies around the 1950s. Philip Peebles states in Pedro Ferrara's book, The Perfect Theory, that a collection of matter collapses under the pull of its own gravity. If there is enough matter and enough kinetic energy, it tends to try to avoid its own collapse. Once that happens, it uses its own gravitational pull to bring in more matter, more gas and rocks to create an even bigger galaxy. Again, these galaxies form solar systems. These solar systems usually have a sun around them, and that sun has planets orbiting around it as well. Just like ours, we reside in the Milky Way galaxy, and the Milky Way galaxy is our solar system, where we, the blue planet, the only habitable planet, revolves around the sun, and we call that Earth. Planets are formed when the asteroids that are orbiting the sun collide and crash into each other, forming a larger mass. And in this mass, same with galaxies, are gases and metals and rocks. This mass becomes so large that just like galaxies, it gets its own gravitational pull and brings in more things and more things. At this time, the Earth was an extremely volcanic area, and you could not inhabit it. Then there was no water, but Astronomers and scientists believe that the Earth received its water through comets and asteroids that crashed into the Earth's surface because of its gravitational pull and brought water. No, there were no oceans or rivers or anything because the water evaporated and went up into the atmosphere and condensed as water vapor and came down. Now, another theory that suggests an explanation on how else the Earth was made, but not only the Earth, the Moon. The Great Impacts, or the Theia Impact. The Theia Impact states that a planet the size of Mars came and crashed into the Earth on an axis around the top. Now, this results in half of it coming and forming into Earth, and then the rest, the atmosphere of the Earth and the rest of that planet, spewed into the atmosphere and formed a disk of matter, gases, and that slowly orbited around the Earth, and because of gravity and millions of years, it formed the Moon, which started orbiting the Earth. And thankfully, because of this Moon, it steadied Earth's axis. And what I mean by that is that if the Earth did not have a moon, the gravitational pull from the sun and all the other planets would turn the axis of the Earth upside down, switching its polars, which would make for climate change to be a very ugly and messy thing. So thankfully the moon steadies our axis, and we can be thankful for that. Now the Earth goes into a grace period. This grace period leads for land masses to start forming due to plate tectonics. These plate tectonics bring up new land masses, start forming what we called Pangaea, which was one giant continent on the surface of the Earth. That broke apart and spread throughout the whole world, and now you see the continents where they are today. Now, we move on now that we talked about how the Earth was made and how humans came to inhabit the Earth. One person dared to ask the question, a question that was so blasphemous in his time, so blasphemous, because people always believed that humans were created in God's image. And Charles Darwin said, what if humans came to be through evolution? Evolution brought humans to where we are now through a process called natural selection. Natural selection is a process of the best of the best, the fight to survive. Primitive life forms inhabited the Earth, and those that didn't have the will to survive came to inhabit the Earth, and they reproduced their own species, their own breed, and it was the best of the best that came to inhabit the Earth. Now, Charles Darwin was, of course, ridiculed, and his theories were thrown out the window because at that point, people didn't know much. And as Bill Nye says in his book, Undeniable, where he speaks about the creation of science and things like that, he even explains that Charles Darwin lived at a time where people didn't know how old the Earth was. People didn't have museums filled with dinosaur bones. They didn't know what fossils were. They didn't know some of the animals that had used to inhabit the planet. So Charles Darwin was ridiculed because of this. But soon, because people kept studying, they found that his theory was plausible. And studies have actually shown that humans have more in common with apes than we'd care to admit. For instance, humans have very similar DNA to apes. Apes have 48 chromosomes, which is actually 2 more than what humans actually have. And we think that because of evolution, humans got rid of those 2 chromosomes because it was no longer necessary. Also, as you can see, apes sort of have the same kind of social interactions with each other that we have with other humans. We act very much alike. Also, apes are the only 2 animals who walk upright on 2 legs. So, in today's informative speech, I've gone through the 3 major points that I promised. The universe and how galaxies are formed, how the Earth was formed, and how humans came to inhabit the Earth. Every day, we look up into the sky and ask, why are we here and how we got here? And it scares us. It scares us to death, but it's so wonderful. Everything, the universe, galaxies, solar systems, the Earth, it's all so big. And sometimes miracles happen. And Maybe that's how we came to be. Maybe it was planned by some God, but we don't know. And that's why humans strive to try to find the answers. Curiosity did not kill the cat. It is always best to keep asking more questions. I hope you enjoyed my video. Have a good day.